All right, we're talking college basketball on Proline TV. It's a Friday night, and we've been making this a habit, and we're going to continue to make it a habit all the way through till the Final Four. Don't forget, you can also check us out, as we mentioned last week, on Tuesdays. Is that right? Did we decide on Tuesdays or
Well,
Monday night?
we decided we were going to do something on Tuesday, but we're gonna have to check the schedule the following
Yes.
day because
Yes.
it's been a mess. Yeah, there's a lot of games, but they're really lower end games, and
Yep.
it's just
Yeah,
very hard.
Tuesday night was a really good night, but unfortunately, we didn't come prepared for a Monday night show.
No,
So that's why Jim's
and
correct.
Wednesday and Thursday were horrible for
Yes.
finding good games.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the schedule, or every week for the next couple of months, whenever we're here, and then really for the next 3 weeks, because once we get into tournament time, then we know there's going to be good basketball no matter what with all the conference tournaments. But we'll definitely get
It's going to be like 8 o'clock in the morning till like midnight, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every day.
Well, 8 in the morning for you guys, yes, because you're out west. But
Right.
yeah, it's probably around 11, 12 o'clock. And that's fun, though. I even think it's so cool. Like, and it's so weird. Like, now, of course, I'm busier. But when I was younger, and it was so cool, like when you used to see like the Horizon tournament first round on a Tuesday at the game like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something, with teams that have combined like 8 wins, but all right, it's the tournament. It's win and you can still survive. You can get an automatic berth in the Horizon tournament. So
Even though these games don't seem important to us, they're definitely important to these kids. They
right.
definitely want to play. They want to play basketball because they love basketball, and they want to win. And the problem is the consistency from these lower end teams is very difficult to stay on top of, especially when you're dealing with this 3-point shot, which is the most inconsistent stat period anyway. So anyway, we got stuff. I just saw Alabama went to 2.5.
Oh, wow. Somebody put a lot of money on Bama. Maybe that was Mark. I know Mark has Mark told us about that. Matter of fact, the short that Mark did Mark do that? No, I don't think it was a short. He was just talking about it during the show last on the Playbook show, that there was a really really good one between first and second ranked teams. So you have dogs, Jim? This is what I have.
Where did that come from? Wow.
This is what I got to deal with. So she keeps jumping up where she shouldn't be jumping. And she waits until I go on the air. And your dog just waits until we go on the air to start chewing the toy.
Yeah, this guy is different. He's 87 pounds. So
yeah, she's not. She's more like 8 pounds. No, cut it out. No. All right. Anyway, that's our Pets Are Us segment here on Friday night talk points. So let's get to it. We've got a bunch of college basketball games to talk about, and we're going to go in chronological order. We start as far as the time is concerned. There's one game at 12. Well, actually, no. We'll save that for later because there are games that I'm also just going to throw in later for some picks. But 1 o'clock, there's the Big Ten game between Wisconsin and Purdue. You got second Purdue in the Big Ten against fourth Wisconsin. They both have pretty much the same records, and they also have pretty much the same spread records. So these are very similar teams as far as the records and spreads all season. And they're also playing pretty much the same basketball lately. Wisconsin's won 11 of the last 14 and covered 11 of the last 14. Purdue has won 11 of the last 13 and covered 10 of their last 13. So that's actually why I'm taking Wisconsin in the game, because the last time I saw it, the spread was about 5.5. And I think this is going to be I could see this being a close game. And I even think this is a one of those flip of the coin games where I could see Wisconsin winning. So I like the 5.5.
I can't blame you. I mean, you can also look for a 6 or buy it to a 6. which is an important number. That's what I would look at the same side actually. Yeah.
And the Big Ten right now, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Of course, you've been prophetic with Michigan State. We're going to talk about them in just a few minutes. They've kind of opened the door now. And lo and behold, because of Michigan's win against Purdue on Tuesday, and that one went right down to the wire, Michigan is in first place in the Big Ten standings. They've got a half-game lead over Purdue and a game lead over Michigan State. Wisconsin is 2 games back. So, again, these are 2 of the top 4 teams in the Big Ten. Okay. You know what? Let's stick with that theme instead of going in chronological order. Let's stick with the Big Ten theme. Let's talk about Michigan State and Illinois, because that game's a late night game on Saturday. It's an 8:00 start. And Michigan State now, as I mentioned, they've kind of dropped to third. They are now on a 1-3 in their last 4 run. Illinois is the opposite. They've won 3 out of their last 4. And I'm sure that's a big reason why they're about a 5.5-point home favorite now. Who would have thought that a couple of weeks ago over Michigan State? Michigan State, we know they're kind of coming back to the mean here a little bit, but they're still 14-9-1 against the spread on the season, and they're getting 5.5 here. So now they're getting some points, but Illinois is playing great ball. And, I think actually this is going to be a team to keep an eye on down the stretch is Illinois. They're a very talented basketball team. And if they can kind of keep this going and like stay on a nice little run, then just keep an eye on Illinois down the stretch. But what do you think about this? You got Michigan State's 3rd place in the Big Ten. Illinois is in 7th place in the Big Ten, and Illinois is a 5.5-point favorite.
Well, actually, I'm seeing 6, and I'm having a hard time. I like Illinois, but I'm having a hard time justifying laying 6. I think that, boy, that's tough. I mean, Michigan State, yeah, they got a big boost early. And when you pull that page up on that site, that's called that's covers. Okay. It's they built that record up on a very soft schedule. And then when they started running around the country and playing, their road record, they're 6-2 against the spread. When I give them a rating on the road, recently 91, but then Illinois is 97. So that's exactly 6. It actually figures to be 6. 5.5, 6 is actually the right number based on current form. Maybe it should be 5 if you looked at the whole season, but I don't see an edge. I don't see an edge laying the number here. I mean, the only thing I could say is let's look for a parlay, money line parlay with Illinois and somebody else, so that you can get Illinois without laying any spread, money line parlay with Illinois and someone else that we might find as we analyze the card.
Okay, fair enough. And there you see Michigan State here dropping. By the way, these 3 losses, as you can see here in their last 4, have been by 6, 2, and 4. So they have been competitive in the losses.
Yeah,
and
they're not playing terrible ball.
No, they're just playing better teams.
They're just not winning.
And for Illinois, here is Illinois. Did I got the schedule here? Here's Illinois' schedule.
I mean, Illinois played 6.5 to UCLA at home. They won by 5. They did not cover. That's kind of what I could see happening here too.
Yeah,
so I'm looking for a money line parlay with Illinois and somebody else.
Yeah, see, looking at Illinois' schedule, and again, I think they've got talent. I think they could start getting better. But as we see their schedule here, they beat UCLA, which is a good win. Even though UCLA is not like, one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the Big Ten, and all these other wins here I'm seeing, they really don't have a big marquee win here you have to go back to Wisconsin, a home win. And that was almost as early as the conference tournament season began. So they really don't have, that's like their marquee win is Wisconsin. They don't have a whole lot of other marquee wins yet. But keep an eye on them. I just think that, like, I agree with Jim. It's possible that the line might be getting a little carried away here. And
well, you're going to reach a point where, I mean, Michigan State's a well-coached team. Yep. And like we said, they haven't been getting blown out. They're losing, but they're not getting blown out. This could be. I mean, no, you're almost forcing me to take the 6. You know what I'm saying? It's just too much of a number. But I like if I can money line parlay with somebody else that we find on the card. I think that might be a good way to go.
All right, we'll see if we can find that then as we go through our games. All right, hey, we got a big one in the Big 12 between first place and second place. We have Houston and Arizona. Wow. And the latest line I had was 1.5 Houston.
Do you have a game number on that? Do you see the number on the side? What number it is?
A game number?
Yeah, on
covers,
sports books they have. Let me see.
Would that be what on covers?
I'm trying to find it on my list here, and they have game numbers, and that makes it a lot easier. But if you don't have one, I'll just have to look for it.
Game numbers. Yeah, no, I don't know what that is.
Usually to the left of the team name is the game.
In a sports book?
Yeah, you got to have numbers on the games or you can't find them. So somebody goes in, they'll walk up to the counter and they'll say, I want to bet team number 620, the name of the team. And
nope.
Otherwise you can't. Otherwise, nobody can find the games because there's too many of them. So you have to have a number.
Okay. Well, let's see what we have here on direct. Again, I gave you the recent one on covers. Let's see. This game is going to be at 2:00. So let's see what they have here at DraftKings. Let's see. What's the latest line here at DraftKings?
Like Alabama, Auburn is game number 707 and 708. That's Alabama, Auburn.
I don't know where this game is. I don't know why it's not here. They don't have a line for it yet on DraftKings. I don't know why. All right. Anyway, so the latest line I have is 1.5, and Houston has won 16 out of 17. They are clearly one of the best teams in the nation. The only loss during that stretch was a 1-point loss in overtime to Texas Tech. Arizona, meanwhile, you're having another good season. All they do is win regular season games under Tommy Lloyd. You know, they got to take that next step come tournament time. They had a 6-game straight-up ATS win streak snapped at Kansas State on Tuesday. I just think the fact of the matter is Houston is a better team than Arizona. If I only have to give a point or two, I'm definitely going to do it. Well,
there is a factor. Okay, I found it. It's game number 643, 644. Arizona's 9-6 at home against the spread. They got a 92 rating at home versus a 94 rating on the road for Houston in the last few games. And if you take the whole season, the entire season, you'd probably make Houston probably a 6.5 point favorite.
Well, I'm not surprised. That's the way they should be.
But if you take just current form,
winning 16 out of 17.
Yeah, it's the thing is, the other team is 16-8 straight up, and against the spread they're 14-10. They're both 14-10 against the spread.
Well, again, that's why I said the bottom line is
the better
Houston
team
is the better team.
Are you catching them in a bad spot here? Arizona, this is going to be a major game for Arizona. They're 6-2 in their last 8 games against the spread. You're talking about who's going to be really hyped up for this. And
yeah, well,
Arizona is going to be Now,
Yeah, but here's the thing. Well, I disagree about that because of this. Look at the standings here, and Houston is 1 game ahead of Arizona. So what that tells you is that Houston understands how big this game is too. I mean, this is just as big as game for Houston. They lose the game, and Arizona mathematically is ahead of them, just because of the tiebreaker, basically. So I don't look at it as I don't look at it as a letdown. I don't look at it as Arizona wants the game more. That's why I said I just think Houston's a better team, and I'm taking them. If I only have to give a point or two, I'm going to do it. But you like Arizona, or do you stay away from this game?
I don't think there's enough of an edge to bet it. It's in college basketball, everything's about numbers.
Well, what would you want? I mean, Houston to like. Why would you pick Houston? Say you would want them to be an underdog.
I probably wouldn't pick Houston. I'd probably look to play the home dog, probably +3 if I could get it.
Okay, and that's possible. Again, we haven't seen the updated line in the past hour or two. So
I think the spot is really great for Arizona, but I'm not going to try to win the game straight up. I want a couple points. And again, this is called value betting. You're looking, do I have an edge? Do I have an edge at Pick'em? Do I have an edge at +1? No, but if I have an edge, if I get a 3, like if this game was at 2, I'd probably buy it to 3, and take Arizona because I think it's a good spot for them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it should be a great game. As far as the atmosphere,
hardly any team is going to win every game, and especially when you get in situations.
Well, Houston just lost a couple of weeks ago, like 10 days ago.
Yeah. So I'd be looking for Arizona +3. And if I found a 2 or 2.5, I'd buy it to 3.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Let's talk SEC. Let's move the standings down to the best conference in college basketball. And might as well start with that Auburn-Alabama game.
It used to be a football conference. Remember that?
Yeah, now the football conference is starting to have some warts the last 2 years. Right. They have not been in. They've not even been in the championship game the last 2 years, let alone won it. Meanwhile, the basketball conference is having a great year, and you see the 2 10-1 teams, and that trend Mark talked about on the Playbook show. Again, it had something to do with SEC 1 versus 2, something like that. If you want to know exactly what Mark said, just check out the Playbook show from Wednesday. But I believe, based on what Mark was saying, he was leaning towards Alabama based on that historical trend. He said that it was such a big trend that would favor Alabama side. And I was kind of leaning towards Alabama anyway. I just don't want to see this number get any bigger because it's 1.5. I don't know if it's changed.
No, I told you it's 2.5.
Oh, that's right. It's 2.5, and that's starting to get a little bit.
No, I'm not laying 2.5. That to me, it's Alabama money line. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Period.
So
money line.
Yeah, there's no way. That's
now
especially
that could be. I mean, I'm not as confident, but Illinois money line, Alabama money line might be the way to parlay that, or we might find something else that's a little juicier.
Yeah, Alabama is playing some good ball now. They've won 7 straight. The only thing, though, is that in the stretch that Alabama's in right now, where they've won the 7 straight, it's not like a gauntlet of big-time teams, so just keep that in mind. I think they've beaten mostly, mediocre teams during the stretch. As you can see here, this was their biggest win. It was Kentucky. Since then, Texas, it's okay. Mississippi State's okay. So, yeah. So, not a gauntlet of SEC teams, but they're still playing great ball right now. Definitely a national championship contender. And this is going to be huge. 4 o'clock, first versus second. And Matter of fact, is this first versus second national rankings as well? I think it might be.
Yeah, I think it is.
So, yeah. Anyway, there you go. Should be a great game. 4 o'clock.
I got a game for you that's not on our list that I like to talk about.
In the SEC?
No.
Well, what conference?
Well, I'm not sure the name of the conference, but it's Fort Wayne against Robert Morris. The 16-9 team against the 17-9 team.
Fort Wayne.
It's
versus
IUPU,
Robert Morris.
IUPU Fort Wayne, Indiana University Fort Wayne, against Robert Morris.
All right.
Interesting game. Now listen to this. I mean, they're both like same record, 16-9, 17-9, but Robert Morris is 20-6 against the spread.
Robert Morris?
Yes.
Okay. 20-6 against the spread.
That's a pretty incredible record.
What time is that game?
I don't know that. I don't have it in front of me. But I find this to be an interesting game to look at.
Why? What's the other team?
Well, Indiana, Purdue.
Yeah, what's their record against the spread?
15-9.
Well, that's not bad.
No.
So why do you like it?
Well, it's the kind of game where you have revenge with Robert Morris playing at home, where they're 10-3 against the spread at home, and the last 8 games they've covered all 8 games, and their rating normally in home games during the season was a 66. In the last 8 games, they're running about 82 to 84. So they have increased and went way up on the charts in their performance at the latter part of this year. Now, this is what you look for. Somebody that really just catches on and starts to click. And this looks like a team that's starting to click. Now, I'm not saying anything negative about Fort Wayne because they're playing very well. But this team has gone up 13 points in their power rating recently over an 8 game period.
So this is the second place team in the Horizon against the third place team in the Horizon. So these are 2 of the top teams in the conference. And IPFW has won the last 3 in the series. They haven't played this year. Oh, they did play this year.
Yeah, and they won earlier.
That was the one you talked about.
They won earlier yeah.
And there's Fort Wayne. This is what they've done lately. They're coming off a loss. And they've lost, 2 of the last 5.
By the way, this is IUPU Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
So we got
coming off a loss.
Yeah.
As a 1-point favorite on the road. They lost by 22
to Youngstown State, right?
And Robert Morris, meanwhile, they're on a 3-game win streak. And
look at the streak they have against the spread.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. It's monstrous.
Unbelievable.
There you go.
All good things come to an end, but that's an incredible streak.
Yep. So that's a 10-game streak.
And in that group, there's 6 road games that they've won and covered, which is hard to do.
And so this one here. So this one is, let's see. Yeah, thank you for the military time. That's appreciated. This is 2 o'clock. And so what do you got the spread at?
That's what I'm going to look right now. 52.
I think it's 3.5.
See, that's a cheap number.
Yeah, it's 3.5. Robert Morris, the team that's covered 10 straight, is just 3.5.
With revenge at home, playing
With
the best
revenge at
basketball,
home.
and they're just on a roll, man. This is just incredible.
And this is, again, the Horizon. Yeah, these are two teams that, like, just a couple of years ago were not in this conference. It's amazing. All this juggling.
Everybody's moved around.
This is the conference where that Oakland head coach is still there.
Yeah.
Greg Campy.
Yeah, he's a good coach.
26 years.
But,
they got a bad team this year, though. Yeah, Robert Morris was really predicted to be one of the worst teams in the conference this year.
No, they're not.
Purdue was predicted to be one of the best.
Well, this is not Purdue. This is Fort Wayne.
I know it's not Purdue.
Yeah.
And their coach has been there for 10 years. And let's see, what's the deal? Because Robert Morris, they just came from, what was it, the Patriot or something?
Boy, all these guys have moved around, which makes it all tough because they lose all the rivalries and all the stuff that you normally see.
Yep, that sucks the most. Well, they've been there. Their coach has been there for over 14 years. And they only won 10 games last year. And they only had one returning starter. So they must have done a good job with the portal.
Robert Morris in this game is a 2.5-point favorite. But
so it's dropped.
But also, well, actually, it opened 2.5. We're starting to see 3s. So,
all right. So there you go. Robert Morris, little out of the left field pick for Jim for this Saturday, for tomorrow at 2:00. And again, you're getting right around 3. So keep your eye on that one. And that one is, again, at 2:00. Okay, so back to the SEC. And we already talked about Auburn and Alabama. They got the Mississippi State Ole Miss rivalry, and they're matching up college hoops. And in this one, you have 5th place Ole Miss against 9th place Mississippi State. The Bulldogs have won 5 of the last 6 against the Rebels, straight up and against the spread, including an overtime win last month as a 6-point favorite. But they're 1-3 in their last 4, so they're on a little bit of a slide. And they're only 1-9 against the spread in their last 10. Ole Miss, meanwhile, they're on a 3-game winning streak, including a 14-point home win versus Kentucky. And after that, they had back-to-back road wins, SEC road wins. So they're on a 3-game win streak. And don't forget, remember last week when we were talking about Alabama and Florida, when I was saying, hey, why not go with the money line as well? Alabama, maybe they're due to lose. They have lost before. And this was the game we pointed out that they did lose. They lost to Ole Miss. Ole Miss was the team that beat them. So Chris Beard, we know he's a really good coach. Chris Beard has been very successful come tournament time.
Excellent coach. Yeah.
Mississippi State's got a good one too. Chris Jans is doing a nice job there. He's not proven in the tournament yet. But anyway, Ole Miss is even a better spread team, as I mentioned. Mississippi State's spread record has gotten really bad lately. It's a 4.5-point number, I believe. That's what I have here. So, yeah, I kind of like Ole Miss in this one. I think they'll even things out. I think it's hard for Mississippi State to sweep the Rebels, considering I think the Rebels is just a better team anyway, plus they're at home.
I don't have a feel for it, but
okay. Let's move on to the next one. Another SEC game, Kentucky at Texas. And Texas is the 1.5-point favorite, or at least they were an hour ago, even though they've lost 3 straight by 39 points.
Yeah, how do you make them a favorite in this game?
They're 12th seed. They're the 12th seed in the conference. Kentucky's 8th. Texas is only 15-10 on the year. Keep an eye on the fact that Jackson Robinson, who did not play in his last game, the guard for Kentucky, is questionable. They've lost 4 out of 7, have the Wildcats. But we know Kentucky's a better team than Texas. They haven't played yet this year. Texas is desperate for the win. No question. They have to get wins because this is not a tournament team right now. But I got to take Kentucky, though, right? I mean, is it still 1.5?
You have a game number? No.
No numbers. I don't have
numbers. It's
numbers.
hard to find these things without a game number.
You got to make sure you have them before shows.
Well,
let's see.
Excuse me. I could say the same thing to you.
What do you want from me before the show? I don't know. I don't have that stuff. I don't have numbers. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, I'm gonna find.
Yeah, you got one of those websites that has all this other information I've never seen.
Well, yeah, they do, and it's because I'm dealing with bookmakers and they have game numbers.
Yeah,
I'll find it.
Don't they have another system than that? How can they just make everybody look for the game like with 100 games on there and have to keep an internet times?
That's why you put. Okay, Texas is open 2 and it's up to 3.
3,
and there's a little bit of juice on the favorite, which means it could go higher.
Wow.
What the hell's going on here?
I don't know. I know this Jackson Robinson kid's okay, but
number is 780.
Again, that doesn't mean anything to me.
Well, it makes it easier for me to go find the data. My data.
We're already done with the game now.
Okay, so the Texas 15-10, Kentucky 17-7. You got
Texas has dropped 4 out of their last 12.
Everything I look at indicates that Kentucky is the right side of this game. So when the game is moving like that against what all the data says, something is wrong. Now, what the hell is going on here?
Well, it's not going to say it on there, though, right?
Well, informationally, no. But like Texas has lost 3 in a row.
They've lost 4. They've lost 8 out of 12.
Well, you can't. How can you make them a favorite? I can't.
And the only team, the best team they've beaten actually, they had a big win against. Look at this. They had 2 big wins back to back against Missouri and Texas A&M. Before that game, they lost by 24 to Florida. And then since that, they've lost 4 out of 5, and their only win is against lowly LSU.
So based on this, you would have to say Kentucky's the right side. However, when the line the people that move these numbers are not stupid. And so I have to say, okay, slow down, Jim. There's something going on here that you don't know. Is someone hurt that you don't know?
Well, again, I said Jackson Robinson is questionable, and he did not play in the last game. And that's the latest. But he's not like their top player. He's probably, let's see, let me check out their Kentucky's stats. See where Jackson Robinson is. There's
no stat here that would indicate that Texas should be the right side of this game.
So here you go. Stat. Jackson Robinson is the team's second leading scorer, and he did not play in the last game. So maybe they've already heard that he's not playing.
Correct.
And that's 13 a game.
Yeah.
So, look, the fact is they have other scorers. They got a bunch of double-figure scorers. So, one guy being out shouldn't mean they can't win this game, but it is probably the reason.
This would be as a better. I'm looking at this and I'm saying there's no way I can get involved in this game. But if the 3 minus 15 or 3 minus 20 ends up at 4, I'll probably take Kentucky for a small play at +4.
Okay.
But that's because there's no way this is the wrong line compared to everything you're looking at. So, and I realized after 6 decades of doing this, there's people that know things you don't know. They could be close to the team, close to the coaching staff, something. They know something I don't know. So,
all right.
I have to respect that.
One other SEC game, pretty important game, is Missouri at Georgia. This will be at 3:30. Georgia's still in it, but they're going to have to run off some big wins here because they're 16-9, 11th place. Missouri, though, they're a tournament team. They're in 6th. Dennis Gates is doing a good job there. I think Missouri's a team to keep an eye on down the stretch. They're a 1.5 point favorite the last I saw.
They've had a good year. They've actually looked very good this year. Yeah.
Do you got a point spread on that one, or you need a number?
Well, we got to find it.
Georgia, they have won 2 straight against Missouri, straight up and against the spread. Missouri, 3-3 in their last 6. Georgia's just 2-7 in their last 9.
Yeah, they're not doing well.
But they do have wins against Kentucky, and then a long time ago, they beat St. John's early this season. But they're not playing their best ball. Missouri seems to be in okay shape. Nothing great, nothing bad.
It's always tough to win on the road, but it's obviously.
Well, Missouri's
the better team.
Missouri's last 4 road games, they've got 2 wins. They beat Mississippi State on the road by 27, and they beat Florida on the road by 1.
Okay, this is game number 683. Missouri is 1 or 1.5 at Georgia at 3:30. Yeah. I'll take a look at this.
As far as for Georgia's concerned, I just don't think this is the year for him. I know they have a really good freshman. Where is this kid's name? That's right, Asa Newell. He's their leader. He's averaging 15 and 6 a game. But they just don't have enough right now in the tank.
I mean, Georgia's had a good record at home against the spread, 11-6, which is impressive. But boy, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's been a bad run for him. I mean, it's right here. I mean, they've lost they're coming off a 16-point loss at Texas A&M. Let's see, they beat LSU, big deal. They beat South Carolina, big deal.
I got something for you. This is the first time all year that Missouri is favored on the road.
Okay. Do we have anything with them last year?
I don't have that record.
Well, again, it's only, what did you say? It's still only 1.5?
Yeah, they're going to have to win the game. Of course, they're not. They've always gotten points on the road. 3 or more every game. Every game.
Let me see.
They got a good record. I mean, they got a good record on the road, but they're always an underdog.
Let's see.
Now, they deserve to be a favorite in this game for sure.
Yeah.
And
they deserve to be an underdog on the road every game.
Actually, if you look at this, well,
yes,
I would have to say, I mean, you look at Georgia at home. They played Auburn. They were a 5.5 point dog, and they lost by 2. Now that was a while ago. However, then they beat South Carolina at home by 9. They beat Louisiana State by 19, and they lost by 1 to Mississippi State at home. So they're not dog shit at home. They play tough.
But again, we don't have to worry about it. We money line it, and all we need is the win.
No, I'm not going to play that. No. I don't trust a team that's. You got to prove to me you can go on the road and lay points before I can bet you.
Okay, so that's the SEC. Let's turn our attention next to we have a Big East game. No, actually, not a Big East game right now. I'm going to talk about that later. The other game to bring up would be the Kansas State BYU game.
That's a later game, right?
That is a 9:00 game. And Kansas State is kicking major booty.
Yeah,
and
I like Kansas State in this game.
I mean, come on, they're getting what, 5.5?
Yeah, 6.
They're on a major roll.
You got 6 or 6.5.
They're on a freaking roll of rolls.
Game number 800. 6 or 6.5. I got to take the dog there.
We got to do what?
I got to look at the dog there.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about your dog.
Oh, that's another story.
So they're absolutely. I mean, they've won 6 straight. They've covered 9 straight. And they've got upsets in their last 4. So it's like, don't you realize this team has been there, done that 4 straight times? They've beaten Arizona, Kansas, and we remember a couple of weeks ago when you were stunned when they were a 14-point road dog to Iowa State and won by 19. Well, they actually made something with that. They weren't just some floozy team. They actually started to get on a roll and made themselves a team to keep an eye on. They're 8th in the Big 12. BYU is 6th. And there's no doubt who needs this game more. It's still Kansas State.
Yeah, they're only 12-12 on the season, so they need to get a roll, and they definitely need a roll. Yeah.
I got 13-11.
Oh, that's
You got 12-12?
It says 12-12. Doesn't matter.
BYU is 1-2 in their last 3, including an 18-point loss to Cincinnati and an 11-point loss to Arizona at home. So they're not playing their best. They're vulnerable. Kansas State's red hot. They need the game. Let's see. After this, they've got the Utah double, because they're going to play Utah on Monday on the road. And looking at their schedule, they have a really good schedule. They can do this because they got Utah, Arizona State, Central Florida, Colorado, and Cincinnati coming up. So they're going to be able to win a lot of those games if they keep playing the way they're playing. And then their final game of the regular season is the rematch against Iowa State.
Wow.
So, yeah, this is definitely, I'm taking the number like you, and I'm also putting money on the money line.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can grab 6.5 with this damn thing. I mean, that's a big number.
And the other game to mention here, as far as the top games, the last one is a big game out in the Mountain West. It's Boise State and San Diego State. Now, I think both of these teams are making the tournament, and I think both of these teams are going to be teams to keep an eye on for maybe they can get to the Sweet 16.
You think so? Really?
Possible. They've got the talent to do that. We know the Mountain West is a nice underrated conference there, capable of teams like San Diego State. They've done it before. Boise hasn't done it before come tournament time, but you know they've got a good team this year, and I really expect them to get better even down the stretch. They've won 4 straight up and against the spread, so they're on a nice roll. But so is San Diego State. They've won 5 out of 6. But on the flip side, they're just 1-5 against the spread in their last 6. So Boise last played against San Diego State last month and lost. That was a home loss. San Diego State upset the Broncos. So I'm going to take Boise in this game because I think this is a good opportunity for, to even the series out this year. I don't think Boise is a team that's going to get swept to San Diego State.
Yeah, they do have home revenge, and that's big.
Yep. And they need the game. They are San Diego State. They got the name power. They've had a good season. They're going to be in the tournament. Boise's in 5th place. They're on that, bubble. So they really, really need this game more to even this series out. So I'm gonna take Boise in the game.
In let me see if I have this number. Look at this right. In their home games in conference, they've lost twice straight up. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 wins straight up. And overall, they're against the spread record is 2-4. So they have not been covering their home games.
Oh, you're talking about the Aztecs.
Yes.
Okay. That's good to know.
That's something to now. I mean and Boise's not a ball of fire on the road against the spread either, but let me see this. I'm wondering.
By the way, San Diego State, just to show you how capable they are, San Diego State won one of those. Actually, they didn't win the tournament. I think they came in like third, but they beat Houston and Creighton in one of those early season tournaments.
Wow.
Yep. They beat, here it is right here. They beat Creighton by 18. They lost to Oregon.
Now
and
and
they won in overtime.
On that site that you're on, where do you click on? Where do you find that record?
Which one?
Okay, well, just in any of them. You're on that site, sportsreference.com. What do you click on to find that page?
Oh, okay. So let's just say we go to the front of the page. Let's see, basketball. All right, so this would be the home page.
Correct.
All you have to do then is, best thing I do is hit standings.
Okay.
Or just type in the team's name.
Okay.
That's it. So if I typed in San Diego State, San Diego pops up. There's the men's team, and there we are.
I got you. Okay.
And they've got the rosters and the schedule.
Got it.
So if I wanted to know who they're on the roster and how many points a game, here they are. They got the roster. This is their points per game. Class. So this is very useful information, very easy.
No, that's a good site. I just didn't. I'm just not used to navigating it. I have my own site, and I don't have exactly the same data. And of course, there's other sites that spit out power ratings like crazy. I mean,
yeah.
Ken Palm, Bark Torvik. There's a couple other ones. And they do a great job. It's just analyzing it is difficult.
Okay. So now just as far as the other games that are not big games, but I'm just going to give some additional picks on my side. I like Clemson against Florida State. I think the line is about 4.5. We know how hot Clemson is right now. They're playing great ball. And they've won 5 straight against Florida State. So they own the series. They've also covered 4 straight against Florida State. And they just beat Florida State by 20 as a 7-point favorite. And I just think Florida State is just not very good. I mean, they just lost to Boston College. They lost to Virginia Tech. I mean, they're just an up and down team, Florida State. So I like Clemson in that one. I also like, I think there's only there's just one other one I liked of the games we did not talk about, and that is Villanova against Providence. Villanova is about a 2.5-point favorite. They come off that big win against St. John's, but they have to keep it going. They're not a tournament team right now, so they need to keep winning, and so there'll be no, hangover. They can't hang over. But Providence is a walking wounded. Their star player, of course, got hurt, gone for the year, Bryce Hopkins. They also lost their one of their top 5 players, Abdul Rahim, for the season about a couple of weeks ago. He's out. So the 2 key players out for the year.
Yeah. They've really been playing poorly.
Yep. Yeah. And they were okay until the injuries. But ever
I
since
mean,
all
they
these,
didn't play the game at Butler was pretty good. I mean, they only lost by 1
but
on the
Butler's
road
not
to
very
Butler,
good.
and they only lost on the road to St. John's by 2. They're 2 good games. And they played Villanova earlier on the road, and they lost. They lost by 2. They lost by 2.
Yeah. So, so overall, I think Providence would have been a very interesting team this season had they stayed healthy, because Bryce Hopkins is a really good player, but the guy he's had injury issues before. And also one of their top, I mentioned 2 of their top rotation players out for the year. Another player, he missed the last game, the Xavier loss, because he was in a car crash.
Oh boy.
So they don't know if he's going to play in this game either. He's a 9-point game a guy. He averages 9.4 a game. And then another guy's been out for about a few weeks, who's one of their top rotation players. He averages 9 points a game, and they might get him back. But that's 4 key guys in their rotation, 2 out for the year. The other 2 are questionable. So keep an eye on whether Corey Floyd or Wesley Cadet can play in the game. But I just think Villanova, it's just too big of a game for them. They've won their last 3 against Providence. You mentioned the one they just won last month, even though Providence covered that game. Villanova's got a big-time scorer, Eric Dixon. I believe he's like the leading scorer, one of the leading scorers in the nation. And there you go. That's the reason why I'm going to go ahead and roll with Villanova in that one, getting 2.5. Okay. So the games we just went over, Jim, you said you're going to, first of all, you're going to take Robert Morris.
Yes.
Minus the 3.
You got Kansas State, George Mason, Wisconsin.
Let me make sure which ones we're going over in order here. And you just tell me if you're doing it or not. All right. So I'm doing Wisconsin, getting 5 and I'm getting 5.5 against Purdue. Are you doing that one?
Yes.
Okay. Greg and Jim. I'm taking Houston 1.5 at Arizona. You said no, right?
I'm not playing that one. No.
I'm taking Missouri 1.5 at Georgia. You're not taking that one.
No, I'm not taking that one either.
I'm staying away from Auburn and Alabama.
Yeah.
So are you?
Yeah. The only thing I would probably do with that game is the money line, but I'm gonna pass it. I'm looking for something to parlay Illinois with on a money line, but I haven't found it yet.
Okay. Again, I'm doing Villanova 2.5 at Providence. I'm doing Ole Miss minus 4.5 at home against Mississippi State. Let's see. I'm doing. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from the Kentucky-Texas game just because it looks fishy.
It definitely does. It doesn't. I don't understand. Texas shouldn't be the favorite, and the lines are going up.
Yep, that looks fishy. I'm going to go ahead and take Michigan State. I just think too many points. They're getting 5.5.
You can take 6.
Oh, it's up to 6 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why take 5? You can take 6.
I'll take the 6. I'm also. Oh, here's the game that you can money line. Take Kansas State money line.
Yeah, that's a dog on the road. I'm looking for another favorite at home.
But that's better though. This way you get the money line with the plus, because they're probably
that's
200.
That's not my style.
Okay, so I've got Kansas State. So do you, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to take Boise State at San Diego State plus the 2.5.
Actually, I like Boise.
Okay, so Jim, let's see. Oh, that's right. Remember, I got Clemson minus the 4.5.
Arizona State's dangerous, but that's a good number.
And I've got Clemson.
You can take 6.5 in that game.
Which one?
Boise.
No, Boise's not getting 6.5. You mean
Yeah.
Kansas State?
No, didn't I say Boise?
No.
What's the line on the Boise San Diego State?
2.5.
Oh, that's okay.
Unless you were talking about, say, Illinois, Michigan State.
I've just got the games mixed up.
All right. So I've got Clemson. I just want to make sure. So, because I also got Clemson 4.5, Florida State. Okay. So you have Wisconsin. You also have, let's see, going over here, you've got
George Mason. I'll tell you. Wisconsin, George Mason, Robert Morris, Kansas State.
George Mason. Where'd they come from?
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
George Mason? And we talked about Robert Morris.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got George Mason.
Okay, what's George Mason? Who are they playing? We didn't talk about this game. What is this? Why do you like George Mason?
I guess I did that before we started.
Why do you like him?
I have to go find it. Hold on.
Let's see. George Mason. They are 20-5, kicking butt.
Yeah, they're a good team.
So George Mason.
They're a real sleeper.
That was the team that made that Final Four run, right? Like 15 years ago or something.
Was that them?
So George Mason has won 10 in a row, 13 out of 14. Let's see, where's the number here? And you probably don't even know what time they're on, right?
Oh, of course not.
They usually play those games early on Saturday, those teams. There we go. They're playing St. Joe's at 12:30.
Okay.
And St. Joe's is in 6th in the, what is this? Atlantic 10. George Mason's in 1st, of course. Let's see.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, look at this. St. Joe's has beaten them the last 3 times. So a little bit of comeuppance St. Joe's has got. George Mason's going to have to show them who's boss. After losing 3 straight to the Hawks. Remember when the Hawks were good? When Phil Martelli back in the day coaching the team? They had those like Sweet 16, Elite 8 teams.
They were machines back then.
Let's see. Oh, that's right. Temple was also good. Remember when Chaney was the head coach at Temple back in those days?
Well, yeah, that's absolutely John Chaney.
Those are great rivalry games. St. Joe's and Temple at the Palestra.
So we lose all those rivalries when we start switching all these conferences.
So let's see. St. Joe's, they've won the last 2 games, but as heavy favorites.
At home.
So nothing there. George Mason again on a nice little streak. Let's see. The spread streak is 4 straight covers. They just beat St. Louis by 2 as a 2-point dog. Wow.
On the road. And they beat George Washington on the road. And they beat Davidson on the road.
Well, look at all these small point spreads that you could.
They beat St. Bonaventure on the road, and they beat Dayton on the road.
All as 1.5 or favorites or dogs. Well, the Dayton one was a big dog, 8-point dog.
But when they ran up against Marquette and Duke, they didn't do very well.
Oh well,
that's not their class. That's
Marquette.
That's way out.
What do you mean? They played them earlier in the season?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
They got killed.
So, did you pick them at all before this game?
Well, I've had other times during the year. I've had them.
Oh, but nothing recently.
Did
you get any of these games? These short numbers?
Of course, I did.
Oh, okay. So you're riding a nice little run with George Mason then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can see why. Why not, man?
Ride it till it stops.
That's right. Because even if they lose, that's like the same thing. And I don't want to bring them up again because it's already still too fresh. But it's like the Chiefs. Like I already had like a 5-game winning streak with them in the postseason, 2 Super Bowl wins. So even though they lost and it fucking sucks, the fact is that I'm still up, and it is what it is.
You're always going to lose the last bet.
You're always still going to lose. Yes. Well, the trick though is that, when you when you're riding a team like that, as you know, Jim, is you don't just, okay, you lose and you give up. You just keep it going unless they lose 3 out of 4 or something. But
you ride the streak. You can only lose.
Keep going.
You can only lose once.
Yeah. Well, again,
it is I have to cut it short because it is a holiday.
So you didn't.
I have to go.
That's it. There was no reason behind your spread. Just that you've taken it recently.
I'm just riding it, and they're playing good, and they got the revenge.
And what's the spread? I think I got it here. Let me see. 3.5. That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's value.
And then what are the other games you got besides George Mason?
I told you. It's okay. Hold on. Clemson.
Oh, you're taking Clemson. Okay.
Kansas State. Robert Morris.
Wait, what was that team?
Hold on. I'm going to start at the top. Can you hear me? Wisconsin.
Yes. Got it.
George Mason.
Got it.
Robert Morris.
Got it.
Kansas State.
Got it.
Clemson.
Got it.
That's it.
All right. Got it. Thanks, Jim. I'll talk to you either Monday night, Tuesday night. Yeah, Monday or Tuesday night, I'll talk to you.
I think it'll probably be Tuesday because I'm traveling.
All right. Unless there's like terrible games on Wednesday, then we'll see you everybody on Wednesday for the playbook.
Yeah, we got to check. Let's check the schedule to see what day's best.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Jim.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And we'll see you again real soon here. Also, if you're a big NASCAR fan, the NASCAR shows are already up on the site. So you can check that out. The Daytona 500s this week. Kevin Rogers is new to the channel, so check out his work. He's going to be handicapping NASCAR and hockey. So, matter of fact, we have already a hockey show in the can. We're going to be publishing that in the next couple of days. You could check that one. And of course, golf already started this week. No more football. Baseball starting soon. And we are going to have, before spring starts, we're going to have a big winter, whatever you call it, recap, talk about, I'm not even going to be a part of that, hot stove type of show. Andy Isco, Tony Mejia will be on that show. Maybe even Jim will be a part of that soon. I know he's going to be getting into baseball on an everyday basis once the season starts in April. But as of right now, I think this is it for us as far as our new shows this week. But I will be posting a hockey show probably over the weekend, so check that out. And we will throw in some other shows from previous shows, actually, some other videos from previous shows that we've recorded over the past week. So look out for that. That's why you have to make sure to subscribe to the show, not only because you don't want to miss any of our videos, but also if you enjoy our channel, it does help to support us, and we truly appreciate it. So best of luck, everybody. Let us know if you have any questions, comments, anything like that, and we'll be here to respond.